welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Hi, my name is Richie and this video is going to be all about how we are going to reset, reflect and be ready for 2024, and I'm so excited. So let's just get straight into it. I've written out a few things that we're going to go through and then I've got my coffee, so I'm like ready to rumble, ready to do this video and help you guys and also help myself in getting prepped for 2024. I do want to start off the video by kind of saying that I don't expect people to have very serious, insane goals every single year, and I completely understand like it's not worth it. I'm not someone who's going to tell you put in New Year resolutions and be like, go to the gym 4 times a week and you're going to stick to it, and it's like have like a lot of discipline, and you know what I mean? Like these things don't just like happen overnight just because it's a new year. It's not going to happen like that. I'm more of someone who just wants to set myself up for success in terms of just making sure that I come out at the end feeling happy and grateful for the year that I've had and enjoy myself essentially. Like I said, do not push myself to have these crazy New Year resolutions because that's just not sustainable, and it's only going to make you put so much pressure on yourself and you'll end up falling out of the habit and you fall out of it. I personally mainly focus on things that I know I can achieve, and also maybe some things that I can't achieve, but I want to have those goals in mind so I can push myself to be better. But like I said, I'm not going to put crazy resolutions on myself. Personally, I don't think it's a sustainable thing. I don't think it really motivates people. I feel like it honestly just makes people put a lot of pressure on themselves and start comparing themselves to other people around them and all of that. So I just wanted to make that disclaimer. I feel like I've seen a few reset videos over the past few years and they kind of all encapsulate having like resolutions and being like strict straight out of the bat on the first day of the year, when that doesn't make sense if you've not been like that the rest of the previous year. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I just wanted to make that disclaimer. So yeah, I made a similar video to this last year and I kind of talked about reflecting on my 2022 goals and what my year was like. I talked about my vision board and how I set it up, and I also talked about some tips that kind of help me get ready for the new year but aren't like crazy, you know, crazy things to do. And I also talked about kind of like manifesting and stuff. So we're kind of gonna follow the same sort of template this year because a lot of those things are what I did throughout the year and also are things that I will be doing this year, and I just know these work for me and these are what make me feel ready for a new year or for ready for a new start, a fresh clean slate. So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. I'm so excited and I'm just like feeling ready for the new year. Like it doesn't feel too different for me because I only have a few days off work and everything, but I'm just excited to like see what 2024 will bring for me. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. I'm going to start off by talking about a few key things that I think are really helpful in setting yourself up for the new year and prepping for the new year essentially, and that is decluttering your space, cleaning your environment. I literally stand by cleaning your space and that equaling a better mental health for yourself, and I don't know what it is, it just honestly clears my mind so much. The one thing that I will always recommend to prep yourself for the new year, or like the first thing you kind of do in the first week of first month of the year, is declutter your space. And I do like a Sunday reset all the time, so this isn't like a new thing to me, but at the start of the year, or at least like throughout the year as well, I love to declutter because I can be someone who like gets a lot of little trinkets and puts them away and never ends up using them. And I'm not trying to be like a hoarder, but I just like to collect things, and over time like there's things that I have bought with me when I moved into my apartment that I still haven't really touched since then, so they're just sort of sitting there and collecting dust and taking up space. I feel like it's hard sometimes, especially with clothes as well. You kind of feel like, no, I'm gonna wear that dress later, I'm gonna keep this because I'm gonna wear that later, but you never actually get around to doing it. And I really love to take this opportunity at the start of the year to just really go through different parts of my home. Obviously when I lived at home, it's just going through my room, going through my wardrobe, going through my bedside table, going through my dresser, just seeing if there's things that I don't use anymore, what is the point of holding on to it, and it's just sort of wasting space and collecting dust in my opinion. Really just believe just like decluttering your space will make you feel so much better. Go through that random cupboard that you don't really touch. If you have a cupboard in your home that you don't really go through it and just take out things that you don't really need, just put them away, or you know, obviously donate them, something like that. Just declutter your space. I truly love doing it and I'm definitely going to be doing it as well myself. And in terms of like cleaning your space, obviously when your space is clean, I feel like you feel so much better. And I think another thing that is really important to note as well is kind of thinking about your morning routine and stuff. I used to, especially when I was in uni and stuff, I would really not believe in like a morning routine. I felt like I didn't don't really have like a proper day by day because every day was just very erratic and different, and I don't think those years I felt so good about myself. I wish I reflected on this back then. I feel like if I set myself up a little morning routine, it would have really paved the way the day formed for me back then. But this is something I've learned sort of as I've gotten into my 20s and really started my career and stuff. Obviously I have to wake up early, go to work and everything, so I feel like because of that I've forced myself to have a routine. I know it's so hard to create a routine when you don't have something that's forcing you, but I think it is so worthwhile because even just having a small morning routine, even just having like a simple morning routine of like waking up, making your bed, brushing your teeth, having a coffee, if that is your like 3 things that you do before you like check your phone and stuff when you wake up, that is basically your little routine. That is what's going to make you feel like you've just really energized yourself for the day. And I honestly believe it because during the work week I never check my phone before I head out the door pretty much, unless I'm like checking what the weather is and everything. I love and value that time that I have, whether it's like 30 minutes or 20 minutes. It's just like a way for me to wake up and a way for me to not look at my phone the first thing in the morning. And I know this is like a cliche thing, everyone talks about it, like don't look at your phone first thing in the morning. It honestly helps so much because I feel like the days, especially when on like a Saturday or something, when I'm like just rotting in bed and the first thing I do is look at my phone, I just feel so sluggish pretty much the entire day. And I don't think it has to be like a 4 or 5 hour morning routine, but whatever other little things that help you. It could be that you could wake up at 6 a.m. that helps you out, and that's great. Like whatever works for you, definitely just have like a little morning routine, a little morning peace and quiet just to yourself to wake up and re-energize yourself. I just think that is so valuable and definitely so helpful. And the same goes for a night routine. I feel like sometimes night routines can be muddled up because we've got so many different things going on at night, but I pretty much love my night routine is having my dinner, getting into bed, and either cozying up with a book for a bit instead of just being on my phone or editing a video. And I think even though those are 3 very simple things, it just makes me feel like I have a better night's sleep, and I just like love doing that. It's just like very cozy, and I think if you can adopt a nice little night routine so you can help yourself fall asleep easier, then 100% do it. Like for example, reading a book will put me straight to sleep, so I love having that alone time and that like reading time at night, especially during the work week. But yeah, those are just some few little key things that I like to do, like to bring into the new year. These are things that I've already obviously always done, so it's more about reflecting and seeing that it's been working well for me, and that's what I'm going to bring forward into the new year, into 2024. But that's what I thought I would quickly go over. Just key little things that don't actually take a lot of time, and they aren't big massive changes. It's just little changes to implement throughout the year. Now that we've kind of talked about the few small little habits that we can implement or, you know, bring forward, I thought we would talk about the 2023 goals that we all had. I think everyone obviously puts goals for themselves, whether it's small goals or big goals. Everyone has something that they want to not necessarily improve or change. It's more about like being consistent and having something that you want to attain. And I honestly think that it could range from so many different things. Like it does not have to be finance or money and career related. It could literally just be like maybe your goal was to slow down and take some time and spend it with family and friends, or your goal was to travel more. Like there are so many different goals, right? So I personally feel like my goal, I don't even know what my goals were last year, to be honest. I feel like my goals were just to have a fun, just chill, simple life. I feel like I really become someone who like really values slow living and having time to myself, reading, and just being a homebody. Like I've always been a homebody, but I feel like 2023 was the year where I really fulfilled and became a homebody, because I've really made my home a place, like a little sanctuary for myself, where I feel the most comfortable and I just feel so at peace and at home here. Obviously that's what you want your home to be, but I feel like this year was just like me kind of curating that place for myself, and I've just never felt so comfortable in my own space and being alone as well. That's kind of what my goal was this year, and just to really enjoy like living alone, enjoy my apartment. And I definitely think I really took advantage of that this year, because like I said, a lot of things that I did was kind of related to that. And even looking at my vision board, a lot of the little things that I did, like starting a podcast, was on my vision board, and I did start a podcast. And I also traveled a bit, which was also on my vision board. I did travel a few different places. Those are just the things that like brought me happiness, and those were things that I put on my vision board hoping that is what would be created, and that's exactly what happened. I'll talk about my vision board for 2024 as well in a little bit, but just seeing my vision board daily and seeing it as like my phone background or my laptop background, I feel like it made me like subconsciously like think about these are the things that I want to do and these are the things I'm going to do to achieve the things on my vision board. Hopefully that made sense. And I encourage you to reflect on your 2023 goals, and whether that's just like through what was on your vision board or if you actually wrote out some goals for yourself. I think it's so worthwhile because it's always fun to look back and see how much you've actually achieved, because I feel like, you know, even for myself, looking back on 2023, like I feel like there weren't so many crazy highs, there weren't crazy lows, but I feel like it was just a nice simple year, and I did a lot of things with friends, but I also like did things alone and got comfortable with being alone and things like that. So I don't know, like I feel like I did a lot, but I also didn't do too much really, and it was just a very cozy, comfortable year for me, and I really value that and appreciate that so much. I think, yeah, if I didn't look back, I would have felt like I didn't do anything in 2023, even though I did. Do you know what I mean? It's still a year, so many things happen, so many things change, but I think it's always worth it to reflect and see actually how far you've come and how many things that you've achieved that you didn't think you would have achieved. And yeah, that's definitely something that I really value and really encourage you to also look into. And reflecting doesn't just mean, you know, seeing like how far you've come. I think it also can entail like seeing how your goals have changed. And I think a lot of people may have very specific goals at the start of 2023 or the start of the year. They always do. Everyone always has like specific things that they want to achieve by the end of that year. But sometimes throughout the year, you change as a person, or things change, circumstances change, so your goals sort of change as well. And I think it's like very important to kind of look at that and just think, what did my goals change to, if they did, and did I end up reaching those goals? Did I end up reaching my previous goals? And just taking the time to see what were the differences in your life since the end of 2022 to the end of 2023. And yeah, I feel like that's just a great way to reflect and see how you have changed as a person as well, because like, you know, like I said, everyone changes over the course of the year. Like no one is going to be the same that they were at the start of the year at the end of the year. But yeah, I definitely recommend and encourage you to look at your year and see how far you've come, because you would have come so far without even realizing. Next thing that I wanted to talk about was to be intentional with your actions. I feel like I've spoken about this before, whether it's on my podcast or on YouTube. I feel like I'm someone who constantly thinks about how I'm being intentional with the things that I do and the things that I'm working towards. I think it's only something that I've also only realized like throughout the past year to be intentional about. And with the new year in mind, I think being intentional with your words and your goals means just to be aware of what exactly it is that you want to do. And I think it also includes like incorporating new practices. So like I said, we talked about the morning routine and setting yourself up for success for the day. So like things like that, like be clear on the fact that you don't want to touch your phone first thing in the morning, and you just want to have a simple morning routine before you go to your phone. It could also mean how you can allocate some quality time with yourself. You know, you might say your goal is to spend more time with yourself, but how are you going to achieve that? Is it through maybe looking into some hobbies that you can take on, where you spend some time by yourself and just let your creative juices flow? Or is it just by journaling, or is it by reading? Like, what are ways that you can allocate this quality time with yourself instead of just sort of sitting there thinking, what am I going to do, having this alone time? Anyway, those are just some things that I think is so important in terms of being intentional with your goals. I think it's the same when it comes to when you talk about gratitude or when you talk about manifesting. You got to be intentional with what you want and why it is that you want it. It doesn't have to be some crazy reason or anything. It's just about being aware of what exactly it is that you want and how you're going to achieve it as well. Like really visualizing that in your head. When you're intentional, things always sort of work out for you, whether you realize it or not. Things will fall into place, and I think that's just so important and so valuable to understand. Now we're going to be talking about my vision board for 2024, and I'm so excited. I actually did this vision board on Instagram. I just used like the layout grid for your Instagram story, and I just added all my photos and then created like I think 6 different vision boards or 6 different little boards, and then I put it all together using the same layout app, and it's my phone lock screen now. And I think it honestly makes it so much easier than doing everything individually on like Canva or something. But I did use Canva a little bit just to add like little quotes and stuff, but I think it's such a fun way and easy way to make a vision board. So definitely try that out if you want to. I am so excited about my vision board. So this is my vision board for 2024. This is the background that I'll be using for my laptop and stuff. And I really love how it turned out, because I feel like it's exactly what I kind of want my 2024 to look like. Obviously not everything is going to go right, and I'm not going to take all these kind of pictures, but I kind of want to have these experiences, and I am so excited to see how this goes and how 2024 goes. Like I said, using my 2023 vision board, so many things on that board actually came to life, and I didn't even realize it until like the other day. I was looking at my vision board and I was like, wait, I kind of did those things, and I did travel, and I, you know, did start a podcast, and I did do this, and I did do that. And I don't know, it just is so nice to look back and realize, like, you connect the dots in your head and you're like, okay, I actually did all these things. And you know, I might not have taken the photos that they did, but I kind of like let that come to life without even realizing. So I'm just very excited to see how 2024 goes. A lot of what's on my vision board is still like homebody stuff, because that is who I am at my core. I just like love my space and having a beautiful space as well. I want to be healthier in 2024, and that's a pretty common thing. I think everyone just wants to be healthier every year, and that's, like I said, it just depends how intentional you are with it and what kind of place it comes from as well. So for me, I just want to have more home cooked meals. I do love to cook at home, but I tend to do eat out as well when I'm with other people. So I'm trying to be more mindful in eating at home, and I think when I eat at home I also save a lot of money. So I think that's a great way for me to be intentional about when I eat out and stuff, because like I said, I'm trying to save some money and just be mindful of my finances as well. So I've got a few sort of healthy eating kind of things in there with a lot of fresh fruit and vegetables, smoothies. Those are all things that I do already, don't get me wrong. So it's just sort of adding to what I want to bring forward to the new year as well. I've got some things about, you know, reading and everything, reading on the beach specifically. I feel like it hasn't been hot enough to be at the beach recently. I've got some things with travel, because obviously I love to travel as well. So who knows if I'll end up traveling in 2024. I don't have any concrete plans, but we'll see, because I feel like in 2023 I did not have any concrete plans, but I ended up traveling a little bit, so we'll see what happens as well. And then I obviously have like flowers and just like sort of having a comfortable, clean, beautiful home, and I really value that. Like I said to you guys so many times already, I have like a bit of gym things because I want to kind of get back into working out and moving my body, but I want to be more intentional about why I'm doing it and how I'm going to do it as well. I also have like a journaling kind of one where it's, you know, journaling is important to me. I like use my gratitude journal pretty much every day. So, and some other things that include, you know, spending more time with friends, which is pretty standard. I obviously always want to spend more time with my friends and family, and I kind of want to get back into film photography. I did have a little film camera last year, but it kind of broke, so I don't even know what's happening with that. Probably need to get the film developed, but I want to bring that into the new year and just like have like a fun little hobby in that way as well. But yeah, a lot of it, like I said, is like pretty similar to what was on my 2023 vision board, because a lot of it is kind of what I enjoyed this year, and I want to bring that forward and bring that, those things that just make me happy essentially, into the new year. And I have a few little quotes. You know, I have one of dreaming of a slow life, and I'm going to make a very beautiful life for myself no matter what it takes. And I think it's just nice reminders. I had one similar in my previous one. I think it just said something about like creating your dream life, and I don't know, just having a cute quotes. Like, sue me, I love cute quotes. So I've got that, and I've got some YouTube stuff as well, because obviously I would love to grow my YouTube and all of that. So I've got those little things here and there in my vision board as well, and we'll see how everything goes. But yeah, that's basically what my vision board kind of looks like. And like I said, guys, I stand by having a vision board. It is such a great way to see things visually, like goals that you have, because you're not always going to look at your notebook and read out your goals every single month or every single day and just be like, I'm already achieving this and blah blah blah. But when you have a vision board and it's like visually like your background, and you see it so often, especially if it's your phone background, like you're always on your phone, you know, you're always going to see it. Like I said, you don't even realize that you've achieved these things until you like really think about it, and it's subconsciously manifesting for you when you keep seeing those same images and keep seeing those same things in your head. Anyway, that is my vision board, and I'm very excited. Another thing that I think is so cool and such a worthy cause to add to your little new year reset is writing a letter to yourself. And I only did this last year. I wrote a letter to myself, and I basically broke it up into like different sections. So I had like a little summary of what my year was going to look like and how I was going to feel by the end of the year. I basically wrote it in the sense that when I read it, it felt like I had all these experiences in the past year. So when I read it a few days ago at the end of 2023, I wrote it in the sense that it kind of already happened, if that makes sense. And I did not look at this letter. I wrote it at the start of 2023, and I did not look at it until the end of 2023. And obviously what I wrote very detailed exactly what I wanted things in my life to be like and what I wanted things to happen. And I'm not going to say every single thing happened, okay? Like, trust me, obviously every single thing does not happen because you wrote it or something. but so many things that I wrote did happen in just like a different way, and it was just kind of like crazy to realize and crazy to see, especially when it came to things about like my relationship, my finances, my friendships, and meeting new people, and just also about like YouTube and stuff. Without realizing, I actually achieved a lot of what I wrote to myself. And when I look back at that year of 2023, a lot of things aligned with the letter that I wrote myself. And I don't know, that is just crazy to me, because I think in a way also subconsciously, like I was looking at my vision board and I had this letter in my mind, and I tend to like manifest and write down what I want in my life. These things worked out for me, and again, I'm not trying to say like every single thing happened to a T and every single like milestone I hit because I wrote it. It's just like crazy how everything kind of worked out the way I wrote it, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. But it was such a good opportunity for me to reflect as well, because I obviously read the letter and I was like, okay, I didn't hit every single one of these targets, or you know, I didn't hit like this number goal I had for YouTube or something, but I still had a tremendous amount of growth in my YouTube this year. Do you know what I mean? Like just little things like that. So I'm very grateful, and I'm so excited to do this exercise again and see what 2024, like when I read it, then what will happen in the year of 2024 as well. So basically when I write it, like I said, I'll start off with like a little basic summary of like what I think the year is going to look like and how I'm feeling by the time I'm reading it in December 2024. And then I'll break it up into what my relationship is going to look like, what my friendships are going to look like, what my family has looked like, and what my finances will look like, what my career has looked like, and if there's any hobbies, and like basically put it into different little categories, and you write it as though you're reading in December 2024 and looking back and just reflecting, essentially. I hope that's a good enough explanation for you guys, but yeah, I really think it's a great idea, and I'm definitely going to keep incorporating it. And like I said, I'll see how I go in 2024. I'm going to do it as well this year, and I think it'll be just like interesting. It's always really interesting to see like what I wrote at the start of the year and then what actually happened throughout the year, and how some things have kind of changed for me as well, based on like things that I wrote in the start of the year based on goals at the time, when throughout the year it's kind of changed a little bit. Basically, you don't look at this letter at all. I think I wrote it and I saved it to my desktop like in a folder, and then I did not look at it until the end of the year, and I was like, oh, I have this letter, let me go read it, let me see what I wrote for myself. It's definitely really good. So I think it's like a worthwhile activity, so definitely have a look into that if you want to manifest and like create this like dream life for yourself. Write it out, like write down everything, write it down to every single detail that you want to happen, because who knows, you might actually end up working towards it, or it might actually happen for you without you realizing, because you're like subconsciously constantly manifesting it. Going on from that, I wanted to talk about journaling and gratitude. And I do tend to journal, but I haven't journaled a lot this year, and I think it's because I've got a gratitude journal this year, and I've basically been using that to kind of like write down 3 things I'm grateful for pretty much every day, and then things that will help my day be better, like 3 things that will make myself feel better for that day. And it's so good to just write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Throughout your day-to-day life, it's so easy to kind of like forget and not think about how privileged you are, or how things have actually like worked out for you in your favor, and it's just easy to sort of fall into like a monotonous sort of daily routine and daily life. But I think when you like show gratitude, or you look at how much you've achieved or how much you've accomplished, or how you have so many people around you and things like that, you kind of realize that you actually have a lot that you kind of take for granted, and you're being grateful for what you have. And I think when you manifest, it's just sort of reminding yourself that this is what I'm going to be, this is what I have in the future, like this is, I know I'm going to have it. And it's just being like, you know, I know it, I got it, I want it kind of thing. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do to prep myself to have a great new year. I value having like a vision board. I value having this letter to myself, because I feel like I can reflect new year next year and just like look at all the things that I've actually achieved in 2024 as well. I hope that made sense for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this little video. I hope you guys got something out of it, and I hope you guys have a great, amazing new year and a fresh, clean, beautiful start to 2024, and you get everything you've ever dreamed of. And yeah, I'm just so excited for this year, and I'm just excited to see what 2024 brings to me and to all of you. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.